What is good, everybody? Juliana Page here, and I wanted to bring out my phone for a second because there's two images, quotes, content that was shared on social media that I feel is relevant. And really what we're going to cover today is how to really assess your own programming based on how you're showing up, where you've been, and where you're headed. So this is going to be an awesome one. But I really wanted to address the time and season that we're in. And just what I love about images like this is they really encourage and they inspire you to look within and to keep it a personal. Look at yourself first, then deal with your immediate surroundings, then deal with your spheres of influence. So here is the first one. Some are posting on social media. Some are protesting in the streets. Some are donating silently. Some are educating themselves. Some are having tough conversations with friends and family. A revolution has many lanes. Be kind to yourself and to others who are traveling in the same direction. Just keep your foot on the gas. So I wanted to share that because honestly, I personally am involved in several of these. And I'm connected to folks that are feeling overwhelmed at this time. They're feeling all the emotions. They're feeling just emotional in general. And I think this really speaks to that, how we can still take action, how we can still create change, and how we can still honor and respect people in the process, right? Not everybody's going to be called to show up in the same way. And I think it's a really great reminder to focus on, where are you called? Where are you called? Where is your impact and influence being directed? And that's a spirit-led thing. That's not something somebody can tell you what to do. It's something that you know inherently to do. So just want to encourage you, if you've been feeling guilty or pressured in this time and season, to think about your lane and where you're called and own that and be excellent about it. Then the other one that I've seen is an interesting one, but also relevant to the time that we're in. And here it is. What if 2020 isn't canceled? What if 2020 is the year we've been waiting for? A year so uncomfortable, so painful, so scary, so raw, that it finally forces us to grow. A year that screams so loud, finally awakening us from our ignorant slumber. A year we finally accept the need for change, declare change, work for change, become the change. A year we finally band together instead of pushing each other further apart. 2020 isn't canceled, but rather the most important year of them all. Woo! I just thought that was so powerful because probably like many of you, there's been times in my life where I was forced to change. I didn't choose change. I resisted change, but I was literally by life and circumstances forced to change. I will share a story just for kicks here. So here's the story. First, I'll show you. Here's evidence of where this story is going. It's probably not what you think. So I was in grad school for film production. I am on my thesis film shoots, and we have one location left. And this location has no actors. It's literally just an exterior shot of a location where there's a pan. You know what I mean? It's just an exterior shot with a pan of the camera. So you don't even need the extras. You don't need the whole film crew to come on board with this one. It's just literally, got an interesting hairdo today. It's just literally one shot. So we're packing up at this one location, about to go to this other one so we can get this pan shot. Nearly done with the film before it goes into post-production. And people are sitting around eating crafts food, craft services is there. And somebody had asked me, can you show us round off back handspring? Because I have a background as a gymnast, and I wouldn't think twice about doing this. For me, it's like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you just know what to do, right? And myself thought at this time, wow, that would that would be the perfect emotional release right now. That's what I'm thinking in my brain, just to give you a sense of where I was at this time. Meanwhile, I'm sick, meaning I don't have a voice. I'm past the point of exhaustion. I've been working 14-hour days. I'm not getting sleep. I'm in Topanga Canyon in the middle of the winter where the ground is super hard and uneven. It is freezing outside. I have jeans and a hoodie on. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is the emotional release, right? This is what I need. And that whole season, I'm like, I need a break. I need a break. Like, I can't keep going like this. Like, I was struggling because I really thought that I wanted to be in the film industry, but I was finding in this time and in this season, I wasn't called to it, which is really scary after investing not only in undergrad, but now grad school. And this is now something that I don't want to do. And I was just learning about professional life coaching, which is what I'm put on the earth to do. And that's had a whole evolution. But at any rate, I was terrified to even pursue that because it wasn't a thing. It wasn't respected. I didn't even know it was an industry, so it wasn't widely known. So I have a lot going on in my mind, a lot of emotion. I'm exhausted and I'm not 100, right? So what do? I ignore all of the signs, those intuitive hits that we get. I ignored all of that. I ran and I did this round off back handspring. And as I was doing the round off back handspring, I remember pushing off the ground in the middle of a back handspring and hearing, this is the break that you need. I heard it loud, like audible voice of God. Okay. And I wasn't walking with God at that time, so I had no clue what that meant or what to do with that. It was very weird. So I did the round off back handspring, just whatever. I'm done. And everyone's kind of, looking at me. Nobody else knows what's going on. That just looked normal to them. But I'm having an experience because I'm like, what did I just hear? What just happened? This is the break that I need. What does that even mean? So it's not occurring to me what happened. What actually happened in that moment? I broke both radial bones in my wrists. Yeah. Yep. Did that. An adult in grad school broke 2 wrists, and it was absolutely insane, but it was the break that I needed. It was a break that I would have never given myself, because if you think about it, there was a lot that went into that. I write about this actually in my first book, God's Vibes Matter, Reclaiming Your Spiritual Authority. But I write in there about how I needed this break to look at myself. I needed this break to decide who I was going to listen to heal, to grow, to expose myself to new information. And I wouldn't have given myself a timeout. I had trained myself to that point to push past my body's limits, obviously, and to push past all of those senses that your body gives you. I just learned and trained myself to ignore that and just keep it moving, which was not healthy nor sustainable. And when you think about the recovery process from that, it takes 6 weeks for your bones to heal. There's also physical therapy involved, as you can imagine, with your wrists. And this was a crazy process because there was medical malpractice involved, and it extended it quite a bit. But the most interesting thing about that time was I ended up deciding to pursue professional life coaching and get certified in that. I was the first person done in my year with my film, and I just started showing up differently. And it was like I felt like a new human. And this is still pre-God, which is insane. But at any rate, I shared that because I needed a literal break in my life. I do think that was divine intervention because I wasn't going to stop unless I was forced to stop. I knew I needed to grow. I knew I needed to stand still and just be still. And I just wouldn't allow myself to do that. And so I had no other choice but to be still. I've never read more books in my life. I don't think I've ever journaled so much in my life. And I had like 2 old school full arm casts on. It was not cute. It was not cute at all. And then I ended up having to get plates put in too. And then it was more like wristbands, but absolutely insane. It's a miracle what God does here. But at any rate, I wanted to share both of those examples because it speaks a lot to programming and choice and decision, right? And there's really Three things, three tools that I want to inspire you with. So whenever we are going from one place to another, or we're presented with change or growth or scary things and just new, right, that we don't know how to process, it doesn't have to be bad. There's some steps that we need to take in order to let go of the old thing and embrace the new thing. So I'm just going to give you three. Number one is removal. So I can use home building as an example here, right? Whenever there is a home that's going to be built, there's got to be the removal of the wrong things from the property so a foundation can be built. Okay. So keep that in mind if you're visual, and think about what it is that you're being called to build right now. What are you being called to build? So you need to remove anything that's not going to support that building process. Okay, so in the sense of, let me use a relationship. If you were in a unhealthy, toxic, or even just a relationship that wasn't good for you, and it was in your life for certain reasons, maybe your old nature was highly activated, there's things that you have to remove. You have to remove old connections. You have to remove old places that you would frequent. You might have to remove music that you were listening to, shows that you were watching, talk shows that you were consuming, books that you were reading, sites that you were accessing. There might be some things that you just have to straight up remove from your life, and you just cut that off relentlessly. Your block game needs to be strong. Okay. So that's the first one, is removal. It's understanding that I need to clear the path for where I'm headed so that I can build a new foundation here. So removal is clearing the path. Number two is renewal. We are transformed. Our soul is transformed by the renewing of our minds. So this means you likely need exposure to new information. So taking the relationship example, sometimes we mistake compatibility for same exposure. Just because we were exposed to the same thing, we thought that we actually had things in common. We actually thought to some degree that we're compatible, when really, when we looked at character, purpose, destiny, calling, our source, our motivation, you might find that you're quite different and you were never compatible at all. So there needs to be a renewal process. And that renewal process, from a practical wisdom standpoint, is sanctification or consecration. So we consecrate ourselves so that we can really be clear about what we're removing and what we're going to focus on. So there's quiet time, there's journaling, there might be meditating on the word. It could be listening to sermons when you used to binge watch Netflix. It could be whatever, but we're renewing our mind with new exposure. So that could even be joining a new community. That could even be planting yourself in different groups. Like if you want to be a speaker, maybe you're joining a group of speakers and just learning about that industry, but it's exposing yourself intentionally to new information. Okay, so remove, renew, right? And the renewal is really, really important, because if you skip the renewal, a lot of times you might have removed certain things from your life, but you still have the appetite for them. Okay. And if we still have an appetite for something, we will find it, right? So even if you take the food out of the pantry, if you have a craving for some sort of fast food, whatever you love, you're going to get in your car and you're going to go. You might even go to the grocery store and get that chocolate or get that thing that you absolutely love if you have that craving for it and you haven't renewed yourself. So this is really a soul detox that I'm talking about here. So first you got to remove, then you got to renew. So you really have to renew. What does my body need? What am I feeding my mind? What new information can I expose my mind to? What new circles can I put myself into that will help me level up? What is the exposure that I need to support myself and where I'm going? To bring some accountability into my life. Maybe it's working with a coach. Maybe it's getting planted in a mentoring group or a brainstorming group. Maybe it's taking a course. But what is the new exposure that I need? And then finally, the last one is replace. So we might have had a lot of old habits in the old place that we were at. So it's time to replace. I sort of alluded to this when I said, Maybe instead of watching all the reality TV and the news, you now binge watch sermons. Or maybe instead of listening to all of that, I don't know, rap, hip hop, whatever, R&B, whatever it is that's activating something different in you, maybe now you're listening to praise music or podcasts or something that's actually developing you when you're in your car. Or maybe instead of having habits, doing the same thing every day, maybe instead of driving past that gym, you actually get a membership and you join the gym. Or if that's not an option, maybe you build a home gym at home and you just make it easier on yourself and just push play on a workout and do some virtual workouts. Maybe it's getting in a accountability group and having people keep you accountable to your goals and where you're headed. Maybe it's doing a book study. Maybe it's getting up earlier and having a morning routine. But it's literally replacing old things that you would do. So instead of driving and go having drinks, maybe you go to the gym at that same time. You literally replace the old habit with something new. Instead of going out to eat all the time, maybe you have a regularly scheduled grocery store day and meal prep day. Instead of just being in the habit of calling a friend and venting about your week, maybe you actually journal or hire a coach that's going to help you have actionable steps to move forward on whatever the vision is that you have for yourself. So it's replacing an old habit that's not serving you with one that is for your own growth and development, for the destiny that you're after. So I really wanted you to hear that it's important to really focus on where you're called in this time. And it's also a gift when we are given the opportunity to change, because I learned this years ago. We really either grow or we die. If we stay the same, if we get stagnant, we're dying to some degree. We're limiting ourselves in a lot of ways. So growth is a gift. Now, to really embrace the gift, there's some things that you need to detox of to be all in. So again, those steps were remove whatever it is that's not going to allow you to have a firm foundation. Number 2, renew. What does your soul need because of what you've been through? Where is there a healing process that you need to go to? Do you need to be a part of a ministry or recovery group? What do you need to do to renew and to take care of you? Do you even have self-care practices? Do you have ways to take care of your mental health just like you do your physical health? What needs to happen there? And then the last one, the renewal will inform what you need to replace old habits with. So it sounds like recycle, reduce, reuse, right? That song, whatever it was, but it's remove, renew, and replace. Okay. So that is a formula, if you will, for a soul detox. But my encouragement is this is a beautiful opportunity to grow and to step into something new and to really rise into the potential that you have on the inside of you that you probably haven't even tapped into yet. So I encourage you to do that. And if this formula can help you do that, you're welcome. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. This is a beautiful thing to do on a weekend. You can even spend a 3-day process doing it. Spend Friday evening journaling about what you need to remove. Spend Saturday thinking about what you need to renew and then what you need to replace, and just develop a plan. And from there, it's the action and it's the doing of it and getting consistent and building what I call integrity momentum. Pretty cool. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me over on Miss Juliana Page on Instagram. You can visit julianapage.com for a self-mastery course, for different challenges that we do, for one-on-one consulting and many other things. And if you do need actually some fitness support, you can visit my fitness site, which is julianapagefitness.com. All right, guys, until next time, take care and stay blessed.